You know, fourth dimensional beings live outside of time.
Yeah, I'm a big believer. Of course, like no crazy story. Like you know how like we have like the stuff below us, right? Humans is like there's like well, I was using ants for example, right? Ants are below us, right?
Mhm.
Ants, I mean, they seem to have like a light way of life. They live, they like have colonies, they do stuff, right?
Yeah.
And then we have us. I think there's something above us, like robo vans, right? Like we have, like we say, ain't here. We like stomp on it, make paying attention. Right? I think there's
Hmm.
stuff above us, whether it's angels or
Hmm.
demons or aliens. What is there's something above us, right?
Agree.
We don't pay no mind to us, but
Yeah.
every once in a while they'll like throw a hurricane at us or chain at us, or like
Yes.
something like that. I think that a hurricane is like the same as us stepping on an anthill.
Yes, exactly. There's even there's studies um done on this. If we have a fourth dimensional being step into a three dimension, the shape changes. So in order for us to have a spear on this realm, it's a different shape on a higher dimension. And so there are shapes on the fourth dimension that don't exist. Of course, and there's a lot of shapes on the fourth dimension that don't exist here.
Hey,
We
right now we're like blowing people's mind right now.
all right, all right. And so let's say let's say this is a fourth dimensional object. Okay, we're going to say this mic will be the line that
Mhm.
separates the dimensions. So from the fourth dimension and going down into the third dimension, all of a sudden you're going to see the fullness of it, right? And then now all you see is one aspect of
Yeah.
it. Now you see a line of it. You don't
No.
see that, right? And it is a bad example. What I'm saying is that you will only see a sliver of the information. Most of the information is like through a black hole.
It
You only
is.
get
Yeah.
a little bit coming out. If you get the torus, the donut is the most complex. The donut shape is the most
Mhm.
complex shape in our reality, and the universe is likely a donut shape.
Yeah.
But uh, the it's an even more complex shape higher up. It's like it looks like this octopus like thing
Hmm.
where the Ouroboros, the snake that eats its own tail,
Yeah.
is what that shape looks like. But it don't exist on our realm. It's only a fourth dimensional realm. But what you were saying, the possibility of like we got ants below us, beings above us on these other dimensional levels, are similar to what's taught by thought Trismegistus, um, in the Corpus Hermeticum, that it teaches that uh, the all in existence would be the totality of God. For God to exist and to create, He can only create for Himself. Because if He's all that exists, that means He can only use from what's inside to create. And so there's a theory that we are all living inside of the mind of God. All is mind, and we're like the other side of the spectrum, whereas God is the big God of all. We're the other side of the donut. God is the top of the donut. We're the tunnel at the bottom of the donut. So we're mine as well.
So is the donut like flat or is the donut like on its side?
Let's say donut is flat.
Okay.
Let's say the donut is flat. And so you got the funnel. So let's say that's a black hole. Let's say that, right? Or wormhole or
Yeah.
whatever. Let's say God is at the top, where and at the top, he is the defining factor. He's encompassing all. Everything that can exist and it does exist exists within him. All is mine. All is mine. It's all within his mind. Maybe a dream, he may be dreaming, whatever, but it's all within his mind. And then us, we're God in experience, right? So we're God in time, living it out. And so, yes, hell exists, heaven exists as well. But it's here on earth, we make it ourselves because we're gods.
Hey, I bet you Chile has some hellified conversation.
Yeah, yeah, yes. We was some hellfire conversation. We make it what we want.
Yeah.
We make it what we want.
Yeah. So what do you think about this, right? So you ever watched a show called Arrested Development?
Yes, that's a good show.
No, not Arrested. I mean, not Arrested Development. It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia.
That's a good show. That's a
So
really good
remember the
show.
one skit where they did where like this guy, he was like he was like one guy's like pro religion, other guy's like pro science, right? And the pro science guy, hey, this is scientific fact, the religion is bad, or whatever. And religion guy was like, okay, let me prove something to you. Back in the day, his thing was like, what have we not learned yet, right? You're like, Back in the day, people thought the Earth was flat. The smartest people in the world thought the Earth was flat. They were proved wrong.
Mm-hmm.
Then he kept on giving examples of how the smartest person in the world at the time thought this was true, right? And that was proved wrong. So what do you think we believe is true now is going to be proved to be false in the future?
It's true now. That's going to be proven to be
Yeah.
false.
Like, or is like, do you think wormholes going to be true? Travel is going to be like time travel? It's like, what do we believe in now that we believe like, like, like we believe the sun's going to burn out in 5 billion years. Like we believe like different things as
Hmm.
fact, right? What do you think is going to be like, okay, we're totally wrong?
In localized matter,
Okay.
I think that's gonna be a myth. That what we know from what we know from quantum mechanics,
Mhm.
we've known since 1910.
Yeah.
That you see me right here, right? But on the other, let's say on the other side of the city, I'm also over there as well. At least a little bit of me. There's a probability, and there's an actuality. Um, that we know from the double slit experiments in quantum mechanics, in quantum physics, is that these quantum particles are accessing and entering every possible timeline. That when they go through the double slit, we get an interference, but it's only one particle going through a double slit. So how is it possible that you get an interference? You get an interference when you have two waves interact with each other. Once they touch, they annihilate, gives an interference cross patch type look. And so, how can one atom, one particle going through a double slit interact? It has nothing to interact with. What they determined that it was interacting with its other cells. It was interacting with itself on every other timeline, still creating the same interference pattern. And so these other timelines are sitting on top of each other, all existing within the same time. And so these particles are experiencing and interacting with invisible versions of themselves, and we do at the same time. And so, does a tree, if no one's in the forest to hear that tree, if a tree falls in the forest and there's no one around to hear it, did it happen? No. I mean, it did, but no.
So you're talking about deja vu?
Deja vu is just your connection to the fourth dimensional or higher realm, because everything that can happen has already happening, is happening all at once, all at once. Um, I we can there is a there's a probability of you becoming president, and if you sit here and contemplate that possibility, and it's possible, right? The only thing is certain actions that separate you from that timeline, and sometimes that can be a small amount of actions or a lot amount of actions, but there's an ability to go from the timeline you are now to change it into this other timeline that you're accessing mentally. Here, it exists, and it's real. And why do I know it's real, even though it's in here, is because the stuff that is in here affects this world hella real. So this is real. And so if I can imagine the timeline where I am a president, I can discern the steps that's needed to get to that timeline.
One thing I don't people realize, or maybe they do, but I don't think they do, is like how like this random decisions affect your life, right? It's
Mhm.
like, like maybe you decide to go left or right,
Mhm.
or maybe someone's upset and they didn't do something right.
Mhm.
All these random, like there's literally like in my mind, there's literally millions of timelines you go on, right? Like
Yes.
maybe maybe your aunt was gonna like fly you to their house for summer vacation, but
Mhm.
she couldn't afford it.
Mhm.
And if you would
Mhm.
have flew there,
Mhm.
you would have lived it and stayed there and went to school there instead
Right.
of somewhere else, right?
Right.
There's all these like variations timelines I don't
Right.
people think about.
Why didn't you think that you were able to fly there? Let's just use that scenario.
Yeah, just because like the aunt wanted to fly me, suppose the aunt wanted to fly you there, like for
Mhm.
whatever reason she got laid off, right?
Mhm.
And she couldn't fly you there, right?
Right.
And your parents or your mother or whatever can afford you, right?
Mhm. That's the collective conscious,
Mhm,
where like a wave on the shore, uh, re- uh, proceeding and receding,
mhm,
right? And all these waves, these water particles linked together
mhm.
in there. So the things that I do will affect you. The closer you are to me, it will affect you. So no matter if I'm way over here and we're in the same water, what I do is going to affect you. Some corporate person did something and laid her off, and that person's reality, their dream that they're living
Yeah.
affected your reality in
Yeah.
some sense, but also her choices, and that just trickled down to you, then to your
Yeah.
choice.
And some of the simple, like, let's suppose you go, we'll say you go to, like, we'll say go to Burger King and get a meal, right?
Mm-hmm.
The person, a cashier, let's say her boyfriend dumped her, or no, even make it worse.
Mm-hmm.
She caught her boyfriend cheating with her best friend, right?
Mm-hmm.
She has to go work. She has a fucking piss off attitude,
Mm-hmm.
and so she's fucking curt with you, mad at you, like giving you like bullshit. So now you have a bad attitude, right? That is trolls and trolls, right?
Mm-hmm.
But then again, maybe she has a good attitude,
Mm-hmm.
and you had a bad attitude, right?
Yeah.
That's like it's odd how like all this shit like
Whole different experience.
yeah.
And that's why, first off, the emotions are the gateway to the spiritual realm. The emotions are the gateway to other realities and other timelines as well, because these emotions are more like, I call them lenses.
Yeah.
They're chemical, but they're chemical responses to what we're experiencing in reality. But they're lenses that shade how we experience something and discerns what our next moves are. And so we can access these other timelines with the right mindset. That's why for me, when I started BlackMuse, it started literally from a spiritual aspect first. Before I could even come up with the concept of BlackMuse, I needed to have a mindset that actually believed in this possibility in the
Yeah.
timeline. I had to change my imagination and what I see in my mind pertaining to myself to even make this possible. So I had to see a time before the time. I had to use my imagination to look into my future and pull out something that I wanted and then make that real through my actions and deciding to walk that out. But what did I do? I looked through time. We all are able to do it. We just don't see it as relevant. We
Like you said, like we're talking about country city living. If you're in the city, you're like, you don't see shit around you, right?
yeah,
Like,
yeah.
like people don't realize this is part of the script. But like there's like so many trees and plants and birds and
Mhm.
stuff around in nature,
Yeah.
but no one sees that.
Nobody sees it. Nobody sees it.
No one sees it.
They're not around to experience it. So that
We have like big. This is like big beautiful trees right here, right?
yeah.
But no one sees them.
Mm-hmm. And they can't affect it either. But those that will see it, those that decide to see it, are able to affect that tree.
So from your point of view, are we inherently evil or inherently good?
I think there is no good and there is no evil. There is no good, there is no evil. There's a spectrum. It's only a spectrum, and you cannot separate the two. In order for me to exist, there needs to be good and evil. So if I'm speaking in the context of God, let's say I'm putting myself in God's shoes, all is good. All of it is good. Everything is good. And so here's an empowering moment. And this is how I was able to determine there is no good and there is no evil. Is I was abused my entire life. Every babysitter I had as a kid, I was molested by every single one. I had a babysitter that made me memorize every song from the movie Grease, and I had to wear a dress and sing these songs from these female babysitters. Really weird, right? They really could have my head up, right? But what was the determining factor of how I changed? It was how I decided to receive it, and how I decided to interact with these things. But some things you can say it's meant to happen in time. It's going to happen, but how I react to it is really the deciding factor of time. And I feel like I got off. I feel like I got completely off the question. Can you ask the question again?
I would if I remembered it.
Yeah.
No,
Cheers.
no. What do you believe we're inherently good or inherently evil?
Yeah. Oh, yes. No, I don't believe in good or evil anymore. I believe in positive or negative. I believe in positive and negative. I feel like phones are good, okay, to me. But there's definitely a lot of negatives for me and others. Food, this burger is good. This is a hella good burger you got me, Jason. But is it maybe bad for my hips? It may be bad for cholesterol. It may be bad for this. There's every single I'm a black guy and I'm a really intelligent black guy, right? And then there's really a lot of good things about me. But if you really met me some years ago, maybe in high school or something, maybe different. You get a whole different experience. So it's not good and bad. It's just experience. And we as little guys are sent out to experience everything there is to experience. And so, uh, so when it comes to good or bad, that is the most completely subjective thing possible.
Like me growing up, I knew some people growing up, like they were like some bad people, right? Like,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they were fucking bad. They were bad people, right?
Mm-hmm.
But to me, they took care of me, right?
Mm-hmm.
They would do anything for me, right?
Mm-hmm.
Someone else, maybe not so much, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
But like they had my back. They took care of me. Like they
Mm-hmm.
put me in the right path. They like don't do what I do, right?
Mm-hmm.
But they were like they did some fucking evil shit, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And people say, how you friends with them, bro? Because you have something. Sometimes you have to separate
Mm-hmm.
the what they do to how they treat you, right?
Mm-hmm. Well, you don't even have to separate it. Like mob, like you said, like mob bosses and some they a mob boss with a daughter
Mm-hmm.
or something. You know, killed all these people, but he's just so lovey and
Yeah.
soft when it comes to his
Yep.
daughter. You know, you get a whole different experience because the good is there. That's where we get the yin yang symbol.
Yeah.
Because no matter what, you will find good and the bad. No
There's
matter,
always a struggle, right?
it's always
I mean, like Star Wars. It's about Star Wars, like the dark and the light. You know, it's always
yeah,
like the Sith and the Jedi, right?
yeah,
It's always kind of struggle, right?
yeah,
You need both of them. You know,
yeah.
like you said.
But we grow up with an idea that is very, which is very very way more closer to the Roman mythology, where we had this idea of God is this God of light, and
Mm-hmm.
then we have Satan, which we treat him like he's the God of darkness
Yeah.
or whatever. We were stuck in this duality thinking, where the truth is all is one. There's only two numbers that exist, 0 and 1.
Yeah.
There's only two numbers that actually exist. Everything else is just a repetition. But those are two only things. You got a dick and a vagina. I'm sorry, 0 and 1. That's what I meant. Right? We have on and off. Okay. And all of this is just different reflections of that. How many
Yeah.
emanations of the same thing? Um, and and so uh inside of that one, that number one, or inside of that 0, we're gonna find good and bad.
Yeah.
What may be good for me, it's gonna be could be bad for you.
Yeah.
Wherever you decide to sit on. And so now that I know that's the case, whenever now that I know that there's good and bad in everything, as I eat this once was an animal, I'm so grateful for this animal. This what had to happen to this animal was bad for this animal and for this animal's family, anybody that cared about that
Yeah.
animal. But for me, it was life nourishment.
It's like damn tasty.
Tasty. It was it was good. Right? And so I take a moment to appreciate
Mm-hmm.
that.
Like the cycle of life, right?
Yeah,
Cycle of life.
from the most from the most scientifically, from the most dangerous elements, from the most disgusting elements, we find our most prosperous inventions and tools. The discovery of what's that fungi, that white fungus that starts with a P. You can get rid of certain sexual diseases, syphilis or something like that.
Oh, I don't know.
It grows on bread.
Mold? That's not
It's a
mold.
type of mold. It's a
I
what's
don't
it called? It's a good. We use psilocybin. No, not psilocybin. It's
penicillin.
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 Penicillin. Yes, thank you. Penicillin is a mold. Okay, we discovered penicillin. Okay, uh, through fucking with shit molding and fermenting. We discovered uh chlorine and a couple other chemicals that we need and use to this day
And they found it by trying to find something else, right?
through poop
Trying
specifically.
to find something else, yeah.
Through poop. We get good stuff through poop.
Mm-hmm.
What? Good stuff come from poop too. Because even as bad, good stuff will come from that too. If we're in a mindset of looking for it, if we have a mindset, so that's why we get into scripture, where Jesus or the apostles most likely teaches that we should think of these things that are pure. Think of these things that are good. So what it tells us is the way you think will determine what you see and what you experience. And so when I have when I have a mindset where it's determined to see the good in everything, that has allowed me to extract benefit from everything. That has allowed me to innovate where other people didn't see innovations at.
So you consider yourself a positive person?
Extremely
Really?
overly
Yeah.
positive.
See, I'm opposite.
Yeah. No.
I consider myself a negative person.
And then that's why we work so well.
Yeah.
That's why it works so well. The balance.
Yeah. Yeah. Here's one for you. It's another theory of mine, right?
Hmm.
So let's make this shit up. So let's suppose, to me, it's the easy way for alien to take over the Earth, right?
Hmm.
You have someone, send one alien here, right?
Yeah.
Now that's just some kind of power, right? Like, it has to be like telepathy or read
Hmm.
minds or like hover or whatever, or like they have to do some kind of power, right?
Right. Right.
Like, I don't know, like shut off the electrical grid or whatever.
Hmm.
And after they do that, they say, and it could be just like, remember back in the day when the Spaniards went to Peru
Hmm.
and like destroyed the Inca Empire.
Hmm.
The Incas said had no in their religion, these gods would come from someplace else in gold, you know?
Blonde beard. That was
Yeah,
in there. Yeah.
yeah. And so like in all the religions, like God's gonna come, right?
Hmm.
So this alien comes. Of course, they do the research, right? They know where
Hmm.
we live. They come, they do some stuff, and they say, "Hey, I'm your God. I'm your God of Abraham." Blah blah blah. How do you think we react? I think half of us feel like we bow down and worship him and like do whatever he says.
Hmm.
Others have like, I don't know, like the Bible, the Quran doesn't say. The Bible Quran doesn't say some random alien gonna come from space, right?
Yeah. Yeah. It doesn't say that.
And I think that'd be easy way for an outer space person to take us over.
I definitely agree with that response you said, but I also think that'd be the same response even if God, the true God, showed up.
Yeah.
That it would still be split.
Mhm.
Um,
You're not my God.
yeah, you know, my God, yeah,
Yeah.
it's not,
You're the Muslim God. What the fuck is
yeah,
this,
what
right?
you mean, it's still looking for more. There's gonna be people that's gonna, if that God can be here in the flesh,
Mhm.
like to be seen and with awesome powers that is beyond
Yeah.
what we can perceive, and there's still gonna be a large portion of us that's not gonna believe because it's all on the
Can you
spectrum.
imagine, like, let's suppose God exists, God really came, right? Or Jesus, whoever came, right?
Mhm,
Whatever, God, all of you on he actually
mhm,
came, and like he like took all the TVs, all TikTok, everything, he took everything over, right?
mhm,
Like, hey, no bullshit, I'm God, right? A lot of you not following my ways.
mhm,
You have 3 days, got your system.
mhm,
The fourth day, you have to bow down, worship me on the fourth
mhm,
day. At this time, if you don't,
mhm.
you're gonna die.
No, I would probably die.
Yeah.
I refuse to worship anything.
Mm.
I refuse to believe that God, the God of all
Uh-huh.
things, is a God that needs worship.
Okay.
I believe that's a human aspect. I
Mm.
believe human people need attention and worship. But God, I don't, as a
So
creator,
how would God prove that He's God then?
hmm, personally,
Yeah. Like,
I think,
hey, like you're doing this wrong stuff, like you got to stop.
no, no, I think I think it will be personal, personal and specific
Yeah.
to your life.
Okay.
And the best tactic would, yes, it would be to benefit that person's life in some way.
So it'd be more like, hey, I'm your God. If you do this, this would benefit you.
Yeah.
Like if you stop you doing this evil stuff and like I'm making this up, like,
Mhm,
okay, you're robbing, stealing, raping people. If you stop this,
mhm,
you'll be rich beyond your dreams.
mhm.
I think it'd be more like that.
Yes.
Okay.
But I still don't think God is about stopping or doing something. But I do believe that if you want to be worshiped, if you want people to serve you, then it's a relationship. Take me on a date.
you
You know?
ever do you ever seen the Star Trek movies?
Yeah, I'm a big Star Trek fan.
Remember the one Star Trek movie is like when like they were like in the 50s, 60s, like Kirk was an
Mhm.
admiral
Mhm,
and like God wanted a starship.
mhm.
At first believed it, and then found like Kirk was like, "What does God need a starship for?"
Yeah.
Like something that makes sense, right? If you're God, what
Mhm.
can the starship do for you, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Like,
Mm.
if you're God, what do you like? If you're God, like you said, if you God, why do I need to worship you, right? Like
Exactly.
you're God, right?
Exactly.
It's
Mm,
like like
mm.
bad knowledge, but like you're Deion Sanders, you know the one fastest dudes on earth, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Why do you need to race someone, right?
Yeah.
Like, dude, I know I'm fucking fast.
Seriously.
Like, or like I know like you're like Albert Einstein.
Yeah.
I don't need to take a math test.
Yeah. Right. Right. You don't have to promise.
You want to do? Want me to take an algebra test?
Hell, I created it.
Are you kidding? Are you kidding right now?
Kidding? You know who I am?
Yeah.
But it's like having a child. I don't have a child and demand that child worship me
Mhm.
or even respect me. That's a whole human being. And why give us free will
Yeah.
and just to put a spiritual gun to my head
Yeah.
and say, worship me or don't do this, don't do that. So for me, the biggest, I do believe God speaks to me at times. I do. And there's been times where I've been told not to do things or to do things, but I believe that it's personal. I feel like there's one point in time God told me don't speed. To this day, I don't speed. I do not speed. But
He ain't told me that yet.
yeah, but I ain't going to nobody else saying, "Hey, God said don't speed. You ain't supposed to speed." He spoke to me.
Yeah.
You know, and that's good for me, and that's a purpose for me. But it doesn't mean it's for you. So it's like, what are your set of 10 Commandments?
Yeah.
You know, for your life.
Yeah. So obviously I doubt religion, God, some whatever. But then again, like this is kind of weird. So like so from when I was born to like 5 years old, I lived with my grandparents, right?
Mhm,
Every time I did my grandparents, right? They died at 10 or 12, right? So I started
mhm,
doing right.
mhm,
So years later, I found my grandfather. He was not a good dude, right? He did this
mhm.
fucking horrible shit, right?
Yeah.
So like maybe 10 years ago, I was like off religion, not Roman Catholic, right?
Mhm,
And like in my mind, of course, what you're having in my like reality, right? In my
mhm,
mind, my grandmother talked to me and said, "Hey, Jason, I'm in purgatory with your grandfather. I need for you to pray for us because we need your prayers for us to go from because your grandfather did some horrible things.
mhm,
We need your prayers to help us go from purgatory to heaven, right? It's gonna
mhm,
take a lot of prayers, right?"
mhm.
My mind, like what the fuck, you know? Like, are you serious, right? I,
Yeah.
I I remember I was my wife was driving the expedition. I was in the car,
Uh-huh.
right? Listening to music. I wasn't drinking, not sober. Like this
Yeah.
came on, like my grandmother's like voice and mind, like right there, Jason. Like I could all go to heaven, but I'm taking with your grandfather. He did
Yeah.
some horrible things. You know, we need your prayers, right? Like, oh shit! Like
Yeah.
they're like, is this real? Is it not real? Like, am I fucking fantasizing? Like,
Yeah.
it's a fucking wild shit, right?
Yes. That was real. That
Yeah,
was realist.
yeah,
That
yeah,
was real as fuck.
yeah,
It was real as fuck. I truly believe because we are divine beings, because we are multi-dimensional beings. We are mind. We're mentos, right? Mentos. We're mind.
yeah,
I had a similar experience, not directly like that, from my father after he passed.
yeah,
I was in a dream. I was able to see him and visit him. I gave him a hug,
yeah,
and it was almost like he thought like he was in a whole nother reality.
yeah,
In that reality, he was still alive, and I
yeah,
was there, and he was like confused, like, "Why are you hugging me?" I was like, "We
yeah,
got to pick up your brother." He
yeah,
was in the dream, you know,
yeah,
but I'm like, "Oh, my dad,"
yeah,
right? And he looked so confused in the dream, but it seemed real.
yeah,
I feel like I was saying earlier, according to Corpus Hermeticum, according to the text, is uh, Earth is both heaven and hell.
yeah,
This is purgatory.
yeah,
That's the one thing I agree with with the Catholics on.
yeah,
This is definitely
yeah,
purgatory. And so we have non-bodied beings that are here. The Bible tells us that non-bodied beings go to dry
yeah,
places, you know? And so um and for how prayers, I believe in prayer. I believe in prayer because I believe in vibration, and big study on that. So, and even when it comes to witchcraft, if you go deep into the different forms of witchcraft and occultism, it just literally just bogs down to prayer, like literally, like in every you might add some herbs to it, but it still ends with a prayer.
yeah,
You go
yeah,
to Satanism, they still praying. You know, just still a different guy. They still fast and everything too, like with
yeah.
but with drugs.
Yeah,
That's an awesome
it's like a
experience.
lot of stuff out there, right? And like
Yeah.
people believe, don't believe, you know, people religious, not religious, you know.
But how'd you respond to that though? I want to know.
Yes,
Yeah. How'd you respond when you heard that?
I
Did you
just like
start
I was
praying?
fucking shocked, right? I mean, I started fucking praying,
Yeah.
you know,
Right.
I
Right.
started praying like motherfucker. I prayed right there, right?
That's real.
Like I real fucking religion, right? Because like 'cause I hadn't thought of, I mean, I hadn't thought about them for a long time, right? Like I
Hmm.
love them and stuff, and like whenever so I was born in town called Kerrville, grew up in it, but it's a Medina, Texas. I grew up
Hmm.
like town's 500 people, right?
Hmm.
Lived there, whatever, right? But then, you know, after a while, you grow up, don't forget it, right?
Hmm.
You know, like and whenever I go back to San Antonio, area, I always go to my grandparents' gravesite, right?
Right.
All the time, right? I go there. Somebody else owns a house now, right?
Hmm.
Little house. I go by there, look at it, and so from my grandparents' house to Medina River is like maybe 3 minute walk, right?
Hmm.
And so you like I'll go there once in a while, like whatever. I didn't talk about it maybe 5, 10 years, right?
Yeah.
It's just out the fucking blue, right?
Yeah.
They're like, they're like, and it was like my wife used to smoke, and my wife said, "You okay?" I guess my face was
Mhm.
like, "What the fuck's going on?" Right?
Yeah. Yeah.
It's like, yeah, it's like, and of course you pray a lot, and then like, of course you stop praying, you know,
Mhm.
it's like, yeah, it's like,
Yeah.
come on, yeah. My grandmother's are really religious, right? She's like
Mm.
real Catholic. Like, so
Yeah.
she got me baptized and stuff, you know, yeah,
Oh, yeah, Christian. Yeah.
yeah. But
Yeah.
it's like, yeah,
What was your biggest experience on the spiritual? What was your biggest, like, strangest spiritual experience?
had to be that.
Yeah.
Had to be that.
Yeah.
I mean, had to be that, yeah. Yeah. I mean, just out the blue, right? Like,
Yeah.
it was like she was right there talking to me, right? Like, oh
Mhm.
shit, like, yeah.
You have problems? Is it hard to tell people about it for
This
you?
first time I told her anything about it. Yeah.
Really? I
Yeah.
feel
First
privileged.
time I told anyone about it, yeah.
I feel privileged.
Yeah.
That's awesome. I believe that story.
Yeah.
I really believe
Yeah.
that story. I really,
It's like
really
it
do.
fucking happened like 2 minutes ago.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm glad that you went. I'm glad you went ahead and prayed.
Yeah. Yeah. It's like, yeah. Well, it's crazy. Like, I won't tell the detail. Like I watched my grandfather, right? But years
Uh-huh.
later, I found he did some fucking horrible things too,
Mhm.
right? Like, he was talking like I'm talking about fucking like if someone deserves to go to hell, it's him,
Mm,
right?
mm,
Even though I
mm,
worship him as a grandfather, like I
mhm,
love him to death, like things he did, like he deserved to go to hell, right?
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
he was not a good
Well,
person.
well, according to us,
You know, according like everyone on fucking earth.
I mean, yeah, according to everyone
Yeah,
on earth, according to everyone on earth. But I feel like this whole walk is to experience. The whole point of living, not to be good,
yeah,
is to live.
yeah,
It's to live and to experience. And some people, I feel like when people they have a bad life like that, because my dad was like
yeah,
that too. My dad, like some really fucked up shit he did too, like some really fucked up shit. And we got the same name too. So
yeah.
anyway, uh, but I feel like when it comes to a situation like that, and you have to separate that person from what they did and still have love
Yeah.
for them, and in the scope of things, uh, it's almost like maybe I was born in this
And
family line
times are different.
to
Times are
make
different.
to change it.
Like so, my aunt, she did like a family history. So she tracked her family history back to like before Columbus to a
Mm,
town of Italy, right?
mm, nice.
And like not even like we'll say like I mix up like not even like 1890, 1910s.
Mhm.
27 in our family, 27-year-old dudes were marrying their 14-year-old cousin. Not even
That's
100 years
yeah,
ago, right?
yeah, yeah.
Not even 100 years ago, right?
Yeah, that's timely. That's
Yeah.
right. That
But
sounds right.
nowadays, because back in the day, you know, a guy with the war, fought,
Mhm,
whatever, and then a girl, if she was ready, she didn't get married, right?
mhm,
So
mhm.
different times, right?
Yeah, yeah.
But nowadays, shit, that happened. Both of them going to fucking jail.
Because yeah, we forget that the
That's
Virgin Mary was
that's
13.
yeah.
She was 13.
I mean, back in the day, I mean, like baby making age was 13, 14, right?
Yeah, yeah.
You know,
You're
like
an adult.
was it right, wrong? You know, like even like you ever watched Game of Thrones,
Hmm. Oh yeah,
like
yeah.
you know, like when Sansa was supposed to marry Joffrey,
Uh,
you seriously say your baby making age pretty soon. Well, I'm
mhm.
30, I'm 13. Shit,
That's the
you
time.
should be making baby. You should be making baby right now.
Yeah. Yes. And but socially that it don't make sense no more. But
No,
it makes sense biologically.
yeah,
'Cause
biology makes sense. Yeah,
yeah,
but like, yeah,
because now we're like waiting till like we're 40 to
yeah,
have kids, like almost about to die.
yeah. I have a good friend. He had his first kid like 44. Wife was 41, right?
It's so dangerous.
Man, like I can imagine me like my age having kids, right?
Yeah.
Like in no fucking way.
Well, you can. You can to the day you die. Go ahead, Methuselah.
But as far as like you know like playing games with them, being
Mhm.
active and stuff,
Yeah, you can't do nothing for that shit.
no.
Yeah,
I have to hire a fucking a living daddy. Have a living daddy. This is a living daddy.
for real. Now go play with your living daddy. I don't got time right now. Oh, wow, that's funny. That's
It's
funny.
fucking insane.
I love your spiritual. I love your spiritual experience. And I really love that that you did take the time to pray because a lot of people they will battle with that part.
Yeah,
And for me, to me, it's all for me. The most important thing is the experience.
yeah,
I've lived my entire life following a Bible and therefore other people's experiences, and now I'm having my own experience. And and I'm grateful to that experiences come for me. The biggest, strangest spiritual experience I had was when I was in Houston, but I was smoking weed that day. I was smoking weed that day, but in the middle of the day I was home alone, and strange thing I ever saw, I was outside my patio. We got a big, clear, open sky from the patio from my mom's house, and I looked in the sky, and then everything was just good at first. It was just normal. normal sunny day, no clouds in the sky at all, sheer blue. And all of a sudden, I see clouds forming, and it forms this gigantic oval, very extremely straight oval, like defined lines. And in the middle of that oval, uh, which is more like an almond than an oval, but in the middle of that almond shape, um, I see a circle that looks like a rainbow. It looks like it was made out of seraphim, like it looked like it was like plastic, and it was like wavering like this. It was made up, but it looked like it was made out of rainbow, translucent, just like rainbow, like seraphim. It's like the closest thing I could relate to it. Like but it was a straight circle. It looked like an iris, and the clouds had formed the shape of an almond. So it looked like a gigantic fucking eye in the sky staring directly at me. Scared me so fucking because it was super defined, super defined. Scared me so badly that I flipped backwards out of my seat on the patio, flipped backwards hit my head, and ran into the house at full speed, ran completely in the house. Caught my breath, trying to like, what did I just see? What is going on? And I went back outside. Lo and behold, that thing was still there. And I sat there for 30 more minutes watching it. And it was just staring back. And then I finally got bored and I went back in the house. And then checked about 5 minutes later and it was gone. Um, it didn't say nothing. It was just like I saw it. I saw it. And it didn't make any logical sense. And I've experienced, and I'm very skeptical of my own experiences, other people's experiences. Will, I but that I saw it. I have no explanation as to what it was or what it meant. I just, I try to allow it to, cause me to do awesome things or good things. I don't know why that thing, whatever that was, showed up to me, but it fucked my head up. Fucked my head up.
All right, we're gonna change subjects real fast. So I have to go to the bathroom.
Yeah.
So what I'm doing now, while I'm going to the bathroom, I want you to talk to the camera
Mhm.
and talk about BlackMuse,
Okay.
like how I got started, where you focus on your future vision, like this, like BlackMuse nerd out. Okay.
Okay. Got you. Got you. Okay. Well, as you may or may not know, BlackMuse is a virtual resource education center. We're in over 30 schools here in Tacoma, Seattle, and area and surrounding areas. So basically, we're teaching kids how to create digital assets, and for this new future we're in. So to give a better scope, what I mean by creating digital assets and why that's even necessary, um, we've come from all the way from Web 1.0 to Web 3.0, whereas we have static web pages, which is Web 1.0. And when that came out in the 90s in the .com phase, the main thing you needed was web developers. And those were the money makers of that time. And now we've added on social media onto the internet, bringing us to Web 2.0, connected us like never before. And then we add on cryptocurrency in the VR experience, brings us to Web 3.0. And so going from the .com need for web developers, now we need metaverse architects to develop. So what are we doing? So we're going out to each one of these schools for 8-week sessions in collaboration with Metro Parks to deliver future ready skills to these students that are teaching them to create digital assets for the metaverse and for purchase through NFTs and cryptocurrency. We're teaching these people how to create and how to monetize off of the things that they're like, i.e., video games, such as Roblox, Decentraland, Sandbox. These are all different metaverses that millions and millions and millions of dollars have been invested in by plethora of companies. Even Ulta. That the key. Really? Oh, sorry. Yeah. Where was I? So it is. Uh, So we're teaching them how to create future ready skills to be able to create these different metaverses and experiences. So because there's many things that you can create in these 3D worlds. This is you're creating virtual worlds, which is something that we've done through spirituality, through religions, and through our books and imagination for thousands of years. And now we're able to do it on an even more immersive level. So now when you go to a website, when you go to a company's website, you're not just visiting a page to get information. You are experiencing a company. You are experiencing a company from the inside out. It's a whole different thing. And so we're teaching these kids on how to do that. So that's what we provide for our kids. We also create VR training modules for companies. We take companies training regiment and we turn it into a VR experience. And what we have recognized is that this allows for the dissemination of information uh, uh, to, well, it gets ingrained and instilled in the student at least 80% faster. We have a retention rate of 95% when it comes to information retention versus the traditional retention rate of 40% if you're just learning face to face with a teacher. And so bringing this immersive environment um, to the aspect changes the game. And so not only are we doing this for companies by creating these virtual experiences, we're also teaching kids how to do the same. We might be teaching your kids soon.
So the stat 95 to 40%, where did that stat come from?
So that comes from the national. There's a government database where those stats are. So it's 40% for traditional or retention rate for students. Um, I can get those numbers for you
Okay.
specifically.
So from your point of view, what's wrong with the U.S. American public education system right now? Or,
Hmm.
let me be fair. What's wrong? What's right with it? Let me be fair.
well, well, well. What's wrong with it is it's cookie cutters standard. That it is tailored to only benefit a specific type of student that may have better memorization skills, that it may be more logical, left brained,
More
sided,
kissy uppy, so to speak.
kissy uppy, definitely.
More like, let me bring the teacher apple.
Yes, more conformant and such. We don't have a appreciation nor a curriculum that has been developed to teach creatives, to teach innovatives, future entrepreneurs, people who think outside of the box. We kind of kick them out of the box. Rather, that's why our biggest innovators have dropped out of college, because that's a cult.
No disagreement there. So next question. So the Department of Education is a federal agency, right?
Mm,
Do you really need a Department of Education? Do you think it brings good? I know they bring money, so to speak, but then it's
mm,
like, if you're like a school district and like, bumfuck Arkansas, you don't do exactly what they say, you don't get the money, right?
mm. Yeah. Well, I think that it's important to have a standardization of education. I do believe so. But I do believe that our current standards is not a model that is able to is we're not making kids our current system doesn't teach wisdom. It teaches knowledge, but without wisdom. So we have
There's a big difference, right?
yes, we have a lot of kids that know a lot of stuff but don't know how to use it. They don't know how to use it all. Where I can have the same conversations, talk about the same stuff from it, but I can go and create a business off of it. I can make money off. I can do so many things with this as if it's like another color in my painting board. But with them, they have the information, and that's just it. It stops with a conversation with them. They just have the info.
All right. Let's talk about something else controversial.
Yeah.
Talk about psychedelics.
Hey.
So I've said this podcast before, like I can't talk for all veterans,
Mm-hmm.
but every veteran I know is either doing psychedelics or edibles, right? For probably PSD, mental health, right?
Mm-hmm.
Of course, other people do because they want to get high or
Mm-hmm.
experience. Like most veterans I know, like they did the oxycontin, the
Mm-hmm.
VA
Mm-hmm.
drugs. It
Yeah.
didn't do nothing for them. Right? Every veteran I know, like did psychedelics is like, oh my god,
Yeah. Yeah.
like this is the fucking bee's knees, right?
Makes a big difference. Makes a big difference. I've experimented with psychedelics.
And when
Definitely
you say
helps with people.
psychedelics, do you mean like people don't know this, but marijuana is actually a lot of psychedelics. You mean
Mhm.
like marijuana, edibles, LSD, mushrooms, all the above, or they're
Well,
just
you're going to
boom.
class C all the way up.
Goddamn right.
For psychedelics for me, psilocybin. So yeah, shrooms. And I have tried LSD and LSA. And
What's LSA? I've never heard that before.
lysergic acidamide. I made that myself
Okay.
in high school with my
So you're a fucking chemist?
well, in high school I was selling it. Made it from morning glory seeds.
Okay.
Morning glory
Mhm.
seeds creates it has morning glory seeds, which you can find at any Walmart or Home Depot
Okay.
or whatever. Yeah. If you can extract the LSA from it, if you know how to do it. Um and um and so we made it a little pill form and froze it.
Okay.
Um, take a pill. You take the pill, and then unfortunately, it had like one side effect that before it kicks in, you will vomit.
Yeah. I mean, apparently every psychedelic you like get nauseous. You know?
Yeah, but it's like vomiting rainbows. It's like all of a sudden it happens. It's like the colors. All of a sudden it kicks in. All of a sudden it kicks in. Um, and I saw me and my Vietnamese friend in high school was selling the LSA pills
Yeah.
in school for $20 a pop,
Yeah.
and people were
I
buying
can imagine. Yeah.
it.
Yeah. I never really did mushrooms. I guess my thing, it's like a messed up fear, but I'm like, okay, how do I know for sure this is a mushroom is not poisonous mushroom, right?
Hmm.
That's always been my fear.
Mm. Well, that's the big fear. That was a big fear for me too. I leaned on a website back then called Arrowhead
Okay.
back in the day, which they had every information
Yeah.
on drugs of
Yeah.
every kind. Like literally, if you wanted to find the LSD formula, it was there.
Yeah.
But so they went into great detail on how to determine what mushrooms were good to eat and
Yeah.
what weren't
Yeah.
ones that weren't. But
Uh,
we were still lucky though.
yeah. I know people like they like they're sure about mushrooms, right? It's like
Yeah.
that's their thing, that's their jam, so to speak, right? Just
Hmm.
like other people like I'm a LSD guy, right?
Hmm.
Like it's like
Hmm.
yeah. I actually have like the chemical for LSD, right?
Nice.
Yeah.
That's deep. That's deep. Oh, I would say I've had good experiences on both of them.
Mhm.
To be honest, my best experience was on LSD. I was at the Renaissance Fair where I did that, but I got really good benefits from psilocybin.
Yeah.
I was actually able to quit cigarettes.
Okay. Yeah. I've heard those stories a lot where people like addicted to something and
Mhm.
the mushrooms like took them off it. Yeah.
Yeah. As my birthday, I went to California recently. My last birthday in October. And I was smoking cigarettes up until then. And I went to California and with a friend of mine, we decided to get some mushrooms. It's legal out there. They delivered it. And and for whatever reason, I mean, it wasn't even a good trip that time.
Yeah.
I don't but for whatever reason afterwards, I just had no desire
Yeah.
for it. And I
I've
was
heard,
able to put it
those
down.
stories a lot, right? Yeah.
I have been smoking cigarettes since I was eight
Yeah.
years old. 8.
Damn.
Yeah. 8.
Fuck.
Stealing them from my dad, going to the garage and
Damn, you're a fucking thug. You're a country thug.
country thug.
God damn. Fuck. 8 years old? Shit.
But my voice so deep.
God damn. That's fucking insane.
No, it was a
But I
stronghold.
mean, like so many benefits. Of course, like you hear though, like theories, like back in the day, like psychedelics were like what legal back in the day,
Mhm,
but because so many like people, like civil rights movement, anti-war movement, were
mhm,
doing it, the
mhm.
government, did like Schedule 1 because there's no reason marijuana and any of this shouldn't be. You can't. I refuse to believe that marijuana and heroin was a fucking Schedule 1 drug.
Yeah,
In no fucking way. It's yeah,
crazy. It was a race thing. It was a
yeah,
race
it
thing.
was.
Just like how they went against opioids.
Mhm.
And that was they were targeting Asians.
Yeah,
When they first went against even though they were ones they were selling it, and we were selling it. America, the biggest naval battle in all of American history. I mean, world history. The
yeah,
biggest naval battle in recorded world history was America against China.
yeah.
It was was Black War, some Black
Uh,
Naval War,
yeah,
something
we
like
were
that.
talking about
We was selling them
yeah,
drugs.
the opium wars,
Opium Wars,
opium wars. Yeah,
yes. And they was like, no, we don't want you to sell us drugs. And America was like, fuck you. We
you
won't
don't, you
sell
don't, you don't get high whether you want to or not.
yeah. And that's how And that is how we gained our freedom from. That's how we funded the revolution.
And isn't it crazy? Like, of course, like I'm pro-American, but like people have this theory of America like being like all the greatest country, right? Of course, we did some good things, right?
Mhm.
But there's like so many bad things we did. Like people don't realize like we fucking like pretty much like brutalized Philippines 1898. The shit we did in Central America 1920s, right?
Yes.
We've done so much fucked up shit, right?
Yeah.
I mean, don't get me wrong, we did some good things, right? I mean,
Mhm.
like someone like the worst government in the world is democracy,
Mhm.
except for other governments, right?
Right.
And, like,
Right.
I mean, there's a reason people want to come here, right?
Yeah.
I mean, there's
Yeah.
a reason people want to come here, right?
Yeah.
I mean, we're still, that's how fucked up we are. We're still a beacon here, right?
Yeah.
Like,
It's definitely not for the people.
no, there's a reason like hundreds of thousands of people across the border, right?
Yeah. They're not just coming for family. They're not
Yeah,
just
it's the reason why people from China, Iran, try to get a college, right? Because we're the fucking we're the gold standard, so to speak, right?
Yes.
Like, ain't nobody fucking trying to go to fucking Egypt or Morocco or fucking Russia, right?
Not for nothing, nothing relevant nowadays.
Yeah,
Yeah, this is the central place for it. But yeah, but we're far from a completely working system.
yeah, we're not perfect, yeah. But
Yeah.
one thing I think people don't get credit for, like, let's suppose you're like, we're like some random country, right?
Hmm.
You can't criticize the government. You can't criticize anything, right?
Yeah.
You're going to hell.
Yeah.
Here, we can like we have fucked the problem, and we can talk about it, right?
Yeah.
We can criticize people. We can criticize the president. We can criticize the government.
Yes.
We can criticize, fucking anyone, right?
Yes.
And in general, nothing's gonna happen, right?
Yes.
Like, you're not like you might get canceled, so to speak, right? But
Uh-huh.
you're not gonna put in jail.
Yes. I applaud this government for allowing me to use my natural rights that was given to me by the gift of my tongue. That I have the right to use it.
Yep.
I know the other countries that understand. It's hard for me. It's hard for me. I'm grateful for it, and I'm blessed by it. I'm a benefactor of it, but it's hard for me to applaud over something that is supposed to be done. It's like like I'm not applauding my son for cleaning up.
Yeah.
As it's supposed to do.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, but it is true though. There ain't nobody else about to let us talk like this.
No, no. No, like, yeah, like, it's like, like, what, you sure want to say that out loud?
What you say?
Yeah. And I think like going to America, we take that for granted, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Yes.
Like, you're not like, I think a lot of Americans go to different places, like be American, right? Like,
Mhm.
you better shut your ass up, right? Cause like, there's not no,
Mhm.
it's not the same, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Yes. It's not the same. It's not the same. But it's a good and a bad thing.
Mhm.
Because we say a lot of bullshit.
Yeah, we do. Yeah, we do. We gonna say a lot of unnecessary shit.
And I'm a big believer that that words are spell casting.
Mhm.
That when we speak, we're casting
Yeah.
spells in some sense. When I speak to you, I give you certain information that's going to elicit an action
Yeah.
of some sort. And if I think ahead and I know enough information about you, I can say the right thing, the
Yeah.
key word that will cause you to do a specific thing. You might as well call it a spell.
Yeah.
So when I go into a club and I talk to the young lady and I'm trying to get her number, I'm
Mhm.
trying to get her home or
Yeah.
something, I got to come with the charisma, the energy,
Yep.
and say the right abracadabra words,
That confidence,
the confidence, all of that to entrance her, to entertain her, which means to detain.
Is that how you got Taylor?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Use my magic words. Yeah.
That's funny. Yeah. But yeah, another thing too, like I said this before on the podcast, like, don't get me wrong, there's people in America who are poor, destitute, whatever, but
Mhm.
in America we have no idea what poor really is, right?
Yeah. Yeah,
Like,
we don't.
like,
We really
as
don't.
best to be in the military, we seen some poor fuckers,
Mhm.
right? Like,
Yeah.
I've seen people like living on dirt floors,
Mhm.
10 people in a room,
Yeah.
like it wasn't for the MREs we gave them to eat right.
Mhm.
And don't get me wrong, like there's like homeless people here. I mean, even the homeless people are, they're eating like
Man, homeless people here got cell phones.
they're like eating right.
Yeah.
Like there's like, even if you're on welfare, that don't get me wrong, if you're on welfare in a bad, like you're outside Chicago, that's bad because you eating like
Mhm.
fucked up food, right?
Mhm.
But it's a different level of poor, right? And people don't
Yeah.
realize that. Like people like in India and different countries, like people like fucking prostituting their 10-year-old daughters, right?
Mhm.
To pay the bills, right?
Yeah.
They're fucking pimping out the daughters, right?
Yeah.
And that's,
Yeah.
to me, that's a different level of poor, right? And
Yeah.
I don't think as Americans we don't get that, right? So people, I hate to use the word white privilege or privilege, like, because
Mhm.
I don't like the term, but like, we're so privileged here, right?
Yeah.
Even the poorest of us, like, imagine, like, I think the poorest part in America is the Appalachian Mountains, right?
Mhm.
Even though it's not,
Really?
yeah, I
Huh.
think so. I can make that up, right?
Yeah.
Like, I'll just give you an example. So,
Yeah.
would you rather be born? I'm going to all out,
Uh-huh.
right?
Uh-huh.
Would you rather be born in Appalachian Mountains and your parents are brother and sister with high school dropouts, and you're in a house with no running water,
High school.
or would you be rather be born in North Korea?
Oh, shit.
I mean, to me,
A high school dropout.
brother, sister,
Uh,
hey, daddy, mommy, in Appalachian Mountains, because at least you have a
mm.
chance.
Well,
It's gonna be tough.
not mentally. They brother and sister. That means I'm
Yeah, I mean, your parents are brother and sister.
yeah, that they're brother and
Yeah,
sister. That means I'm probably slow.
yeah, true.
So
But you're not in North Korea.
I'll take
You're not in North Korea.
yeah.
Or
Sure.
I mean, like, what chance those people have, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Or maybe some
Yep.
dictatorship in Africa, right?
Yeah.
Or like,
Yeah. Hmm.
at least it's a low chance. At least you have a
Mm.
chance, some kind of chance, right?
True. True. But I
Other
still
countries have
value
no chance.
I still value my mind more than I value
So if I were said, just random parents, it'd be easier decision for you.
yeah, it would have been
Okay.
easy. It would
Okay.
be
Let's
easy.
say they're just random parents.
Then the
Let's just say they're like 16, 15 people, had a baby, no one in water,
Mhm.
poor as fuck, no
Mhm.
education, no jobs, or Korea, or no Korea.
I'll take the poor.
Yeah.
I'll take the poor.
You don't realize that, right?
Because I have my freedom.
Yeah. It's all perspective, right?
Yeah, yeah. Because I can change. I can change. Those are all things I've changed that I can change. I've been homeless 3 times in my life. 3 times I've been homeless in my life. You know?
Here's one for you. United States is pretty much the only country in the world where anyone can be president, but only 50 people have.
Right? Right? All right.
I mean, goddamn. Regardless of politics, like even Donald Trump became president.
Oh,
You're
yeah.
like, fuck. Even if Donald Trump became president, oh fuck. Or even positive, negative, right?
Like inspiration. Like anybody can be.
Yeah.
That's- no, I feel like the first I feel like when it came to our founding fathers, they never actually intended for it to be for anybody to be president. That was not the original intentions. And that's why we created the electoral vote. It was supposed to make sure that dumb people